Actually, guys, let me just confess. I thought maybe there would be lions roaming around in Jinja before I moved.
I used to hold my phone like the way I want, but here in Kampala, oh, you have to hold it like gold.
Guys, this is my only negative realization that I had. I moved to Uganda thinking...
Hi guys, I'm Ash.
And I'm Evan.
And you are welcome to our YouTube channel.
So today we are going to be talking about 10 misconceptions a lot of Americans have about Uganda and Africa, and just talk about how they're not true. Ash is going to give her input about these myths. All right guys, the first misconception is that Africa and Uganda is a place of poverty and suffering. Guys, this is absolutely not a great description because Africa and Uganda, just like anywhere else in the world, has both poor people and rich people. A lot of Americans see commercials where they just see suffering, they see poverty, but this is part of the problem. A lot of humanitarian organizations throughout the years have just shown one side of Africa, one side of Uganda, and this is not true. This is just one part of Uganda. There are poor people, there are suffering people in America too, but you don't think of America as just a place of poverty. So obviously there are instances where poverty is pretty extreme here, but there are also a lot of rich people in the cities.
Yeah, actually some Africans or Ugandans also think that all Americans are rich, but
yeah, it
when
goes
you
on the
come to
reverse.
think of it, the Americans also have rich and poor people. So guys, if you're American and you're watching, Africa or Uganda also has both rich and poor people.
Number two is Uganda is all savanna and desert. Guys, there is a whole range of biodiversity in Africa and Uganda. There are mountains covered with snow, even in Uganda. There's the Rwenzori mountain range.
Okay, I think Uganda is mixed with
there's deserts, there's rainforests, there's waterfalls on mountains.
I think you cannot see that unless you visit Uganda. So come in, visit Uganda.
Yeah, and there are cities that are really developed. Kampala's very developed. Jinja is now a city. And there are skyscrapers in Uganda, and everything that you'd find in a normal city, you can find in Kampala, the capital of Uganda.
Yeah.
Number three is that Uganda is wicked hot all of the time. Yes, it is very hot, but Boston summers get a lot hotter than Uganda is. It's warm year-round in most places of Uganda, but there are also really cold places like the Rwenzori Mountains, which we referenced. There's snow there and it's wicked cold all year round up there. There's Sippy Falls. It's like in the 50s and 60s throughout the year, Fahrenheit.
I mean, some months are rainy, you know. So most of the times when it's rainy, it's definitely cold. It's normally like too hot in July. Like right now it's hot, I feel it, but it's not like too much hot. Like when we visited South Africa, it was hotter than Uganda.
Yeah, South Africa
so I feel
on
like
the ocean was hotter than here in Uganda.
Yeah, it was hot, and for the first time my skin peeled off. So Uganda is between hot and, you see, yeah. We're
also at a higher elevation, so I think that may contribute to why it's a little colder than you'd think.
Yeah.
Nairobi, for example, in Kenya, is at a higher altitude, so it's a bit colder there throughout the year. Okay, number four, there's no access to modern technology and the internet. Guys, I have 4G LTE here. There is definitely internet. So it's very slow sometimes, but fiber optic cables have reached my city in Uganda. So there is high-speed internet in different places of Uganda, and it's constantly evolving. Modern technology, like I said, Kampala is really developed. So everything you'd find in a major city, you'd find in Kampala.
Yeah, I think because like some of us are employed in that, how should I say?
You work in media.
Internet, like since I work in media, so we use internet each and every time. So
you use all the technology that you find in a studio, in a normal broadcast studio, you use that at Galaxy FM where you work.
Yeah.
Number 5, Uganda is dangerous. There's danger anywhere you go in the world, and you may see news headlines talking about Al-Shabaab or some terrorist group causing chaos in Kenya or Uganda or anywhere else in Africa. Yes, these events do happen, but they're not common, and there is petty crime everywhere you go in the world, including Uganda. So there's always danger, but it's not like you would see in the news where it just shows the problems. Of course, if you go into any city like Kampala, there's a risk of getting pickpocketed or getting mugged, but it's actually much safer in the rural areas where you may be going on a safari. So come to Uganda, go on a safari, don't worry about crime, but you do want to be diligent just like you would be anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, guys, I feel like that statement is a little bit correct. Sorry, especially in Kampala. Like, for example, I was in Cape Town, but I used to hold my phone like the way I want. But here in Kampala, you have to hold it like gold, because anytime someone can come and grab it. For example, some time back, Evan had bought me a phone, like it was my birthday gift, and I was in Kampala, as a journalist, holding your phone and trying to take a picture, yet I was holding it like this with both my hands, but someone came out of nowhere and did this and ran. So it's just not only with foreigners, but also with us Ugandans. If you're in Kampala, you just have to be careful. Even if it's an empty bag, just hold it up.
This is like petty crimes. There's not going to be somebody trying to kill you everywhere you go, which is what some people think about Uganda or Africa in general.
Yeah, I don't think we have many murder cases, but
And when you go to Rukagiri, your home village, you're not worried about somebody stealing your phone.
You just hold it like no one will touch it. But in Kampala, you just need to be careful.
Yeah, just in the cities, you want to be careful, but it's not abnormally dangerous compared to other parts of the world. In election seasons, you also want to be careful, but again, this is just a matter of avoiding the wrong places, avoiding crowds. If you avoid groups of people, then you're going to be fine, I think.
Yeah, during elections, it's too hard. Like, it's very dangerous. So you just have to stay home. If you feel like that's the only way you can, you just have to tell your family to stop like going in crowds, because anytime you could be shot. It's funny how many people get killed in election seasons. Just recently, someone was just killed. They were home and they shot, like, how is it called? And
indiscriminately?
Like, it went directly in someone's house and killed someone who was not even in the public. So those are the only times Uganda is too much dangerous.
And again, these are mainly in cities.
Yeah.
Number 6, this one's kind of stupid, but some people believe this. Africa is a country.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of voices on TikTok asking, are you African? Do you come from Africa? Which language do you speak? I mean, Africa has very many countries, and each country has more than one. Actually, each country has more than 10
Many languages.
So in Uganda, we have a lot, we have very many languages. In that, as a Ugandan, I only know 3 languages. Like English, which is our official language, Runyankore, and then I can talk some bits of Luganda. But there are very, very many languages. Almost every district speaks a different language. So Africa is not a country, it's just a continent, just like Europe.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know where Uganda is, and they don't know that it's in Africa.
Yeah, Uganda is in East Africa, just next to Kenya,
Congo,
Tanzania, Rwanda.
South Sudan. Okay, number 7, if you move to Uganda, life will be harder. Actually, anywhere you go is going to be harder, because you're going to have to adjust to new ways of thinking and just new cultures and new beliefs. So it doesn't matter where you go, even if you're going to another developed country like Canada, there are going to be differences that you're going to have to get used to. So beyond that, life can actually be a lot easier in Uganda, because one example being, you have access to more people in the trades, people who are skilled with their hands. So in the US, you might pay a lot of money to have somebody make a table for you, or make a chair, or work on something in your house or in your yard, or to have a cleaner, or to have a guard or something like that. In Uganda, it's a lot more accessible, it's a lot cheaper. There's a lot more people who know who are skilled with their hands. And so you can easily access that, versus in the US, it's a lot more expensive, and you have a lot more companies that are automated, so it's harder to reach individuals who are good with their hands. But here, if I want to have a table made, I can just go down the street and ask somebody to make me a table, and it can be ready in just an hour or two. Or if I need somebody to cut my grass, I can just find somebody pretty easily. If I need somebody to go do grocery shopping for me, it's very accessible. If I need somebody to clean, there are always people looking to do work like that. If I need to get across town, I can just go outside of my house, and there are like 5 motorcycle drivers on my street ready to take me anywhere across town at a low price.
Yeah, I mean, for Americans, when they come to Uganda, they become a little bit richer than they were in America. For example, $1 is 3,600. So,
shillings.
Yeah, so I think it's cheaper when you come here. Maybe the reason why they say life is harder is because, for example, the roads here, they are too, like, you know, if you've moved outside Uganda, if you're Ugandan and you've moved outside Uganda, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, some roads outside there, you can even bring a mattress and put it there and sleep, but in Uganda, trust me, you can't, because the roads are dirty, they are too. So if someone from America says it's a bit harder, I think that is one of the reasons. And what else you think? And maybe the climate here is different, so it can make someone's life harder. Yeah.
It can be harder if your body's not used to Uganda. For example, me, I have a hard time getting sick very often. For whatever reason, my body just does not do well here as far as health goes. And so if you have a weak stomach, like me, you can get bacterial infections pretty often. It can be harder, just the amount of times you get sick. But then healthcare is much more affordable here. You don't really need insurance per se. A lot of stuff you could just easily pay out of pocket at the hospital, or going to the dentist. It's pretty affordable. So while you may get sick more often, some people may get sick more often, like me, but healthcare is a lot more accessible here. And there are good hospitals. There are a lot of hospitals in my city of Jinja, and I can actually access some things that I wouldn't be able to afford in the US, like physical therapy. I have a physiotherapist here who helps me with an injury. In the US, I wouldn't be able to afford that, but here I can afford it. So in some ways, my health can improve and things can be easier here for my health. Number 8, if you move to Uganda, there are lions, giraffes, and elephants everywhere you go in the streets. Actually, guys, let me just confess, I thought maybe there would be lions roaming around in Jinja before I moved here. I had no idea, but actually most of those animals are just in reservations. There are instances and places in Africa where you have those animals roaming around, but in large part, they're just in reservations. You can find crocodiles and hippos near where I live. It's not very common, but there are instances where they do appear, but mainly in other parts of Lake Victoria. Like if you go to Kisumu in Kenya, you can see a lot of crocodiles and hippos, I believe.
Yeah, most people think Africa is a land of wild animals, like you can find them anywhere. But personally, as a Ugandan, I've never seen a crocodile, I've never seen a lion, I've never seen a chimpanzee, like for real, because I have to pay for it, and why would I pay anyway? So it's something that people think we see them every time, but we don't.
You mostly see cows, goats, and chickens.
Yeah, and dogs.
And dogs. Okay, number 9, this is a pretty specific misconception that only a subgroup of people have in the US, but if you move to East Africa, it'll make you into an amazing runner. Guys, this is my only negative realization that I had. I moved to Uganda thinking I would become a phenomenal runner because of the altitude and because the world's best runners come out of East Africa. But actually it's been pretty hard for me because of where I live. I live in a city with a fair bit of smog and people burning trash and just factories spewing out fog. And so the air is not often very fresh. I have asthma, so it bothers me personally. Also because I mentioned I get sick pretty often. It's been hard for me to string together consistent training for my running because I do get sick very often. It's more so if you go out into the rural areas or you go up to the higher altitude places. We're at 4,000 feet in Jinja, but if you go up to Sipi Falls, that's about 6,000 feet, 7,000 feet. That's where the runners train in Uganda. So you have to be in a pretty specific place if you want to get in good training for your running in East Africa.
Yeah, I think you said it's a negative one, but it's true. If you come to Uganda, you can be a good runner if you do it. It's just that you stay in Jinja, like you said, or Kampala, but most of the runners come from East and Northern Uganda, and those places you can be able to run, and
Yeah, you have to be in
mountains, and those people kind of run in mountains, and if you can run on a mountain, then it's easier to run in such.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you stayed in Sipi, if you stayed in those sides where Cheptegei comes from, or in Zikuru, you would be like, your training would be massive. But here in Kampala or Jinja, nah.
It's much harder, but it is possible. And one positive I will say is that trying to train as a runner in Jinja has just made me a lot mentally tougher because of the frequency of injuries and sickness and just running in the heat. I'm not getting great training in, but I feel like mentally it's just making me a stronger runner. Okay, number 10. This is a funny one. Most people think if you move to Uganda, you're gonna get a great tan. Actually, guys, the sun is so strong here that if you're white like me, you're gonna burn all the time. In Boston, in the hottest summers, I never burn. But here, because we're closer to the sun, we're at the equator, you get burned so much more easily and it's harder to get a tan.
I don't know about that, guys, but what I know, I've never been burnt in Uganda, but when we were in Cape Town, I was burnt, and it was funny for me. I was like, I'm an African. I'm a black. Why would I
Yeah, her whole face peeled off in Cape Town.
Like, it was funny. So for Uganda, I don't really know, but then I feel like every country has a different hotness or something. How should I even say it? It has a different climate. So if I burnt in South Africa, it means if I moved to Boston in the summer, maybe I could burn. Anyway, guys, there are other things you need to know about Uganda. Uganda is a country of warm people. Should I say it like that? They are welcoming. You won't, like, if you met someone on the way, they would just smile at you. So if you're a foreigner and you reach in Uganda and you see everyone saying bye to you or smiling, just know that is our Uganda. Like, people are so welcoming. They are cool, they are friendly, they are just, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks for watching this video, guys. Subscribe for more content. Comment below what you thought about this video or anything we missed about misconceptions you've come across or maybe misconceptions you've had.
If you're American, if you're European and you would love to visit Uganda, just ask us anything you would want to know. We shall reply. And if you're Ugandan and you feel like we missed something, then tell us. Or if you're American and if you visited Uganda and we've not said something you felt when you were here, you can also tell us. Thank you for watching.
See you guys.